So at this point now we should know what template files are, and also template tags. And we mentioned that we will discuss page templates later in the course. So let's now discuss template hierarchy. So we've seen some kind of template files, like the header and the footer, that will be used throughout the whole website. And we mentioned that these kinds of template files are called template partials. Some template files are only loaded under certain conditions. So depending on the URL or the request that you are requesting, WordPress will determine what template to use. And that will be according to a specific hierarchy that WordPress uses in order to decide what template to load. So to make this clearer, let's take a look at an example. So let's say we are requesting this page. Now WordPress will know that this is a category page. So it will look in your theme and try to find a template that is responsible for displaying a category archive. So first it will look for a file called category-unicorns.php, and this will be a very specific template. It will just display the posts that have the category unicorn. And if this template is not found, it will search for category-id. So assuming the unicorns category has an ID of 4, it will look for category-4. And then if that's not found, it will search for a template called category.php. And this template will be responsible for displaying any category, not just a specific one. And if that's not found, it will search for an even more generic file, archive.php. Archive.php is responsible for displaying any archive, not only the category, also the tags and the time archives and so on. So it's more generic than category.php. And if that's not found, it will fall back to index.php. So remember when we mentioned that index.php is the only required template for your theme? That's the reason why. Any request that WordPress will not find a template for, it will always fall back to index.php. That's why it should always be there. So this diagram summarizes the template hierarchy and file names for WordPress. So whenever you want to know a file name for a certain page you want to display, or you want to know which template has a higher priority in the hierarchy, you could always refer to this diagram. And I will put a link to it in the lecture links. But let's now try to use this diagram for the example we've seen in the last slide. So we wanted to display a category page, so it's an archive page, and it's a category archive. So WordPress will search for category-slug, as we saw, and then category-id, and then category.php, and then archive, and then index. And as you can see, index is the fallback for any unfound template. So I think that's it for template files for now. We will use them a lot throughout this course, and things will be more clear. So let's move on now to the next lecture.